Hey guys, what's up? I'm Chuki and welcome back to the channel. So it's been more than a couple of weeks since I uploaded the last video on the channel. It feels really weird to be away from YouTube for such a long time, right? But then I can't do anything about that, especially due to the ongoing lockdown situation. Can't go away, can't go out and review bikes and cars for you guys. So I've decided to start a small series, a small auto news kind of series, auto updates kind of series for you guys in the meantime, so till the lockdown gets over. Now let me tell you, government is doing a commendable job in trying to contain the virus and eliminating it from India as soon as possible. So it's our responsibility to stay indoors and help the government as much as possible. Now you might say that a guy which is sitting in a car himself out of his house, how can he tell us to get in the house? Well, there's a small disclaimer. As you can see this, now that's the main entrance of my house, so that's how directly I can access these cars, and I don't need to come in contact with anyone else or any public place to access this car. That's the only reason I've even dared to come out of this house without a mask and get into the car and start shooting. That out of the way, let's get started with the main topic of this video, which is the Honda CB190R. Now I've made a few points regarding the bike. Now recently Honda has patented the design of the bike in India, which suggests the launch of the bike, which is now evident because of this patent thing. So we can expect this bike to arrive really soon in the Indian market. Now when exactly will it arrive? Please watch the video till end to know about this. Okay, so the 190, it is already being sold in the Chinese and the Mexican markets. It's being manufactured in both of these countries and then sold at the local market, and it has been in production since a couple of years now. Now if you guys can recall, the speculations of this bike being launched in the market, the Indian market, was quite heavy since a couple of years, and that of course didn't happen because Honda was too busy selling their scooters and other commuter bikes. But now, because of the launch of the CB300R last year, which I of course reviewed, that's the first proper viral video on my channel. If you haven't watched it, please click the link in the I button appearing up top. Okay, so because of the launch of that CB300, there's again a small slight ray of hope, which has been enlarged due to the patent which has been filed in India by Honda. So let's talk about a few things about this bike. Now first we'll talk about the looks and all the features, and again after that we'll be talking about the technical, the mechanical oily bits, the specifications of the bike. As you can see from the pics which are appearing on your screen, the looks of the bike are absolutely stunning in my opinion. I mean, just look at that bike. I have watched a few videos of some foreign YouTubers on this bike, and I felt that the presence of the bike, the overall size of the bike is quite massive, so it will give a lot of road presence. Now the bike will look really bulky, really huge, and of course this bike will be priced under 2 lakhs, well under 2 lakhs of course. Now it gets all LED lighting, the main focusing point being the headlamp assembly. I mean, just look at it. Doesn't it look stunning? Gets LED indicators, and because the bike is manufactured in China, those guys, they have directly copied the design of the NS200's tail lamp design. That's a bit Chinese culture, I would say. Other than that, I don't think the design will change because the bike again looks really stunning, and based on the sort of response that guys have given to the bike, Honda just simply can't touch the design of the bike. That would be a huge mistake. So it gets where am I? Okay, so it gets clip-on handlebars, not a single piece handlebar as seen on some other naked roadster bikes. And also the instrument cluster is very similar to the Honda CB300R, so it now gets a negative LCD. Now the thing which might change on the bike is the mechanical specifications. Now mind you, this bike is not a very powerful bike in the international spec. It is not even a 200cc bike. Actually, it's just a 184cc bike. So it gets according to the pics, according to the patented patent stuff, you can observe that the bottom end of the engine or even the overall engine looks very similar to the Honda Hornet. So it's again air cooled, not even oil cooled, or just forget liquid cooling. So that's of course to reduce the costs. And in the international spec, it produces only 16 PS and 15 Newton meters of peak performance. Now that's a bit down. That's a bit down compared to its competition, and the performance is more towards the 160cc bikes. But then the biggest downside of this bike, according to me, will be the gearbox. Now you see, these bikes are quite expensive, and we expect these bikes, especially from Jap guys, to have 6-speed gearbox, right? The classic case being the FZ25 from Yamaha. People have criticized the bike really heavily for a 6-speed gearbox. Now of course they have engineered the bike to run on a 5th gear or at decent speed on highways, but again, there's still something in back of our mind which tells us that a 6-speed gearbox is better than 5-speed, because 6 is more than 5. The biggest downside of this bike as well will be a 5-speed gearbox. Now that's a downside, but I know Honda will engineer the gearbox to and yes, I have watched a few videos as well, in which, of course, foreign videos in which they have taken the bike to around 130 kilometers an hour. Now that's a pretty nice speed for a bike which produces only 16 PS of max power. Let's see what happens. Now again, if the bike gets launched in India, it's highly unlikely that it will retain the same power and torque figures. I guess the displacement might get pumped up to 200 cc's, which would be a great thing, because then it will be more of a more sense to buy this bike over the more powerful 200 or even 250cc bikes in the market. And again, the other thing which will definitely change on the bike is the suspension on the bike, because the international spec gets USD forks, which are not that chunky. These are just 37mm USD forks. But just like the MT-15, this bike will be the victim of downsizing, so it will get regular telescopic forks. And in international spec as well, it gets a regular box section swing arm, not like the MT-15. So we can expect the bike to get slightly beefed up suspension, or even a direct borrowed suspension from the Hornet, which will be a good thing, because I have ridden the Hornet quite extensively and I felt that the suspension setup is actually good. It's not too stiff and it's good. It can handle it can make the bike handle really nicely. Other than that, the brakes. Now I guess to keep the cost as minimum as possible, the bike will borrow the brakes from the Hornet, but I hope that it does not do that, because the Hornet has one negative thing, which are the brakes. I don't like the brakes at all. So I hope that the upcoming 190 gets better brakes than the Hornet. Other than that, okay, so that's the technical specifications of the bike. And yes, the ground clearance. Now in the international spec, the bike has a ground clearance of around 138 millimeters, which is actually really low compared to all the other bikes in the Indian market. So it might scrape very easily, especially if you consider the underbelly exhaust of the bike. Now this bike gets an underbelly exhaust. Let's see whether the BS6 compliance will force Honda to launch this bike with a regular side swept exhaust. Let's see. Now the main thing which you all guys have been waiting for is the launch date of the bike and the price of the bike. Now, considering the fact that the patent has been filed at this time of the year, we can easily expect the bike to go through the testing and other development phase and be ready to be launched in the market by end of this year, or even as soon as the festive season. And yes, let's hope it does happen during this time. and the pricing. Now, considering the fact that this is a very simple air-cooled bike with just a simple 5-speed gearbox, and of course Honda will do a lot of cost cutting just like all the other all the other Japanese companies, we can easily expect the bike to not cross the ex-showroom price of 1.4 lakh. Now, it can be priced at around 1.3 to 1.4 lakh rupees on not on road, ex-showroom. And at that price it would be a great option, especially considering the looks of the bike. Okay, so that's a pretty long, I guess a 12-minute long video. I didn't expect the video to be this long, so let's stop here. Let me know how how I am in this 1-to-1 format, because I haven't made a video in such format ever before. So get down in the comments down below and let me know how I am in this format. And also, I'm planning to do a quick small Q&A session. So first of all, subscribe and ask me whatever you want to know about me, or even about the channel, or about YouTube in general. And we'll do a quick Q&A session really soon. So that's pretty much it from my side. Thanks for watching. I'll see you, I guess, tomorrow. Let's see. Bye.